say, I mean,
single story. Y'all want to save paper clips, or are we that desperate?
we're not that desperate.
Not
It's
yet.
July, we got a brand new bucket of
New
money.
fiscal year.
Talk to me next May and we may have a different story, you know? Where is everybody?
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
So we're pretty cleaned up and everything. We're right on, nothing on holding patterns, and
Nope, nothing on the table, nothing,
we don't have no
What's
current
wrong?
lawsuits, and
yeah. We're still battling, that deck on Paugus
Oh,
Bay Road.
you mean the two families are still at it with each other?
Yep.
Oh, my.
We were going to go to court in June, and the neighbors changed lawyers again. And got it delayed for 3 months or something like that.
I don't get it.
So, no, I don't get it either. They're surrounded by the exact same thing.
yeah.
I mean, you go up and down that road, and almost every single house has the same
Exactly the
exact
same thing,
situation. So it's
yeah.
like nothing unique there. Well, at least you got quorum.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's it. We're all set.
Be nice to have one more, at least.
one more and make it nice.
Yeah. But just that one court, that's it.
That's not bad.
Right.
And so it still involves the city, and it's not neighbor against neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but it really is.
But yeah.
Neighbor versus neighbor. I mean, yeah, we're in the middle of it right now, but, so that, our lawyers are defending your actions. And I'm pretty confident that they will prevail to defend your actions, but.
Oh, I don't. When I see things that are in that kind of situation, I try to make sure all the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed.
Yep, yep, yep.
And I've learned a long time ago to go through every step, because if you stop with one, that one's the one that comes back to bite you.
Yep. Yep.
Well, two of us will be up for reappointment for next month.
Okay. You guys filled out your applications, or?
I haven't received mine.
Really?
She said she'll be back with the stuff I needed.
Nancy's out for the next couple of days. She had a death in the family, but when she gets back on Thursday, I'll remind her.
Oh, that's the barbecue Nancy sent me. Let's see. Scott said you had questions regarding the expiration of term. Our normal procedure would be to send out letters at the end of June to members to see if they're interested in reapplying, and they fill out and return the application. So you can expect to hear from me in about a month. And I think it's,
More than a month, huh?
It's mid-July.
I'll remind him.
oh goody. I got the pleasure of the last tuition bill.
Well, at least it's the last.
Yeah.
What's number 4?
Huh?
What's number 4?
Mike, as far as I know, should be here. I haven't heard anybody.
The only person I heard from was Suzanne.
Yep. I knew she wouldn't make it. I'm hoping it's vacation and not anything else.
I think so.
But, well, we're going to get started. It's 7 o'clock.
Got that on?
It's 7:01 Verizon time. So, good evening, folks. I'd like to go ahead and get started, and right off the bat, let's do a roll call real quick.
Roland Bayhue,
Here?
Ori Gibbs,
Here?
Stephen Bogert,
Here. And with that, we do have a quorum. Okay, takes 3 people to make a quorum. And in doing that, with the state of New Hampshire, if I'm not mistaken, the regs indicate you have to have a full 3 votes for an item to pass. So unless our 4th member shows up in the next few minutes, while we go through the minutes and stuff, we're going to go ahead and proceed. Now, I will do a one-time offer at the beginning of the meeting. If you feel that being heard by 3 people would be against your best interest, then I will allow you to move it to the next meeting. Okay, but once we start the meeting, it's all in. Okay? So would any of the 3 applicants I'm looking at want to move to the next meeting?
No, thank you.
Okay. For the record, they all agreed that using a 3-person board would be acceptable. Okay. With that, we're going to go through the minutes. And do we have any changes, additions, corrections, anything?
Nothing that I wanted to.
Everybody satisfied with it? With that being said,
I move we accept the minutes as written.
Second?
with that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the minutes are accepted as written. Okay, so the first thing tonight is extensions. We have, it looks like 3 extensions to go over. Would the applicant please come forward, introduce yourself for the record, and
Good evening, everybody. Chris Dupree on behalf of the applicants.
good evening.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you all again. As I was sitting here, I was thinking, the one time I don't haul in a big board, to show everything that's going on, is the one time we have new folks here that haven't seen it in the big format. But anyway, so my apologies on that. But there is a plan of what we're talking about that was included with our application as we have. And I think certainly the members of the board are familiar with our situation and our what's transpired there with these sites. Since I was in 6 months ago, the status is largely the same. We have had more sales in the Bluegill, which has been kind of kind of our guide as to when to move forward on this next site that had the 3 buildings approved. We haven't, they haven't been as quick as we would like so far, but we're getting close to the 50% mark. It is giving us, I guess a little pause to think about the product a little bit more, and if there are some changes to the building type that we might want to incorporate, to help increase the pace of sales. But we have had some sales in that building. We have had some more sales in the townhome buildings. So I think, in the next couple of months, I would expect that we'll break ground on another one of the townhome buildings. It's in infill in this site, and continue to use the infrastructure and improvements that we've put in place. And, aside from that, I'd be happy to address any questions you may have.
Any questions?
We are back, assuming we haven't broken ground before October, we are back to the planning board for an extension there as well.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to go ahead and open it up to the public and ask if anybody from the public wishes to speak for or against this application. Please come forward at this time. Or the 3 extensions, we'll just do it all at once. Please come forward at this time and introduce yourself for the record. Let the record indicate no one from the public wishes to speak for or against these extensions. I'll bring it back to the board. Any questions?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Any closing comments?
I was up there today, and I think they're doing a great job.
It really does. It looks nice.
I've actually been in the townhomes.
Really. Haven't been
They're
in one.
beautiful inside. They were under construction, and if you had some vision, you could see they were just lovely.
Yeah.
I haven't had an opportunity to go into the larger building on the other side. I've drove up to it, and it's nice,
I've been
I tell you.
driven by and looked and just kind of, yeah.
I drove all the way up. I wanted to see this, because this is the underground parking and everything, and it's like, oh, I just want to see it. Okay.
Okay.
So, make a motion for, the extension of application number 2009-0027. I make a motion that they have met all the criteria for providing an extension. They've asked for the extension prior to it being expired. They haven't started the ground yet, but the works are going on, so I think they've done their justice in trying to move this project along in a cautious manner so it doesn't create undue harm to any of the folks involved in the project. So I move that we make the extension. That'd be my motion.
Second.
We have a second discussion of the motion. There being none, all those in favor? Okay. I make a motion that we approve the extension request for application number 2009-0029, based on the same qualification as the previous application. They've met all the requirements to be granted the extension.
Second.
We have a second discussion. There being none, all those in favor? Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the extension for application number 2009-0030, predicated on the previous applications that they've met all the qualifications necessary for being granted the extension.
I'll second that.
We have a second discussion? All those in favor? Okay.
Thank you very much.
See you in January.
Okay, we're going to move right along to the public hearing. We have application number, well, no, I don't. Application number 0014 and 0015 have been withdrawn. Okay, so we'll move right on into application Z02017-0016, 38 Eastman Shore Drive. Applicant is seeking a variance for side setback. The applicant, please come forward, introduce yourself for the record, and tell us how we might help you tonight.
Yeah, I will. My name is Robert Pollock, P-O-L-L-O-C-K Jr. I am here on behalf of, well, first of all, representing Terrain Planning and Design, and I'm here on behalf of Matthew and Tracy Bouchard. Well, let's start from the beginning here. The wet weather has gotten to my plans here. This is on 38 East Shore Road. The applicant, presently, there's an existing dwelling unit located here, existing garage located here. Eastman Shore Road is located up in here. And the access to this property is through the neighbor's property down through here, which is really not relevant as far as what we're asking for tonight. And in the existing conditions, the existing building is within 3 feet of the property line over here. And the garage, the detached garage is within 10 feet of the property line up in here. Both of them, as you can see, well over the side yard setbacks. Side yard setbacks here, side yard setbacks here. In the zoning district, you require a 25-foot side yard setback. The distance between the two side yard setbacks is 30 feet. On top of all that, they have a wetland buffer that's coming through here also, 50-foot wetland buffer on the existing site with the existing building. Okay? The applicant is proposing to remove the existing structure and put in a new structure. As an explanation, right now, as you drive down East Shore Road, through the vegetation here, you can hardly see there's a second structure down in there. And that's a segue into the second plan. So anyway, at this point, as far as what the applicant is proposing, the applicant is proposing to, as I said, build a new structure. And when you just with the new structure, he's now going to be 9 feet away from the property line. So he's he's going to be, as far as this side is concerned, it'll be within the side yard setback. So essentially what we feel is that making the structure, they're always going to be non-conforming, but they're making the structure more conforming than what we have today. So anyway, that's. And as far as the driveway is concerned, again, really doesn't relate to what we're asking for tonight, but just for your information, they're going to discontinue the driveway through the other lot, and they're going to bring the driveway down through here, and the garage will be within the building, rather than have a separate structure. So the issue tonight is side yard setbacks. If we, other than that, if we don't go for the variance, he's got the building he's got, which is not meeting his family needs at this point.
The height of the building will be,
It'll be the same. It'll be the same height as the existing structure. It'll be a one-story structure
okay,
with a walkout basement.
okay,
Matter of fact, the existing structure has this tower on it
right.
that's not going to be there anymore.
Now, is the contour of the land is such that the front of the house is going to be level with the ground, and the back of the house, is it a sloping type lot where?
It's a sloping type lot.
Okay.
So you're going to be walking in on the first floor, and then you'd be walking out of the basement down to the water.
Okay.
So you'll have a walkout basement.
And you'll have a deck at the end of this,
Yes, the deck is right here.
okay.
And on the existing structure, there's also a deck. The deck is smaller, but there's also a deck there.
And the vegetation on both sides of the property, is there,
This line in here is vegetation not to be disturbed. These lines in here, in order to do construction, is going to have to disturb the vegetation
uh-huh,
and be replanted.
it's going to be replanted? Okay. The deed itself, I'm not a deed person, so,
And it's only,
but I'm presuming that there was a easement given, and there's an easement on the property, your next-door neighbor's property, in their deed. Is that going to get rectified so that
Yes, I have,
both deeds, so that there's no further need to cross
Yes.
someone else's property?
yes. There is well,
I see a quitclaim deed here, but
the first page of it.
because the reason why I asked is I look for future owners,
yep,
not to have the headache
Yeah,
of
they were
the
going to
present.
do that,
there is
actually record a release of that easement.
we'll be cutting, this is a letter, the planning board hasn't received it yet. Letters of the planning board, and the second, the second paragraph, it says, "We'll be cutting a new driveway, and we'll be giving up ownership of our current shared driveway with 34 Eastman Road North." Is their intent to extinguish any rights over that driveway? Yes.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, 'cause right there with together with the right-of-way and privilege, and the right across the driveway, and if they release that and record it,
Yep,
then, yeah, that terminates it. If they wanted to do it again, they'd have to go back,
that's right,
get
Okay.
another easement from the abutter. and-
right.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make, if this is so approved, I wouldn't mind having that as part
As
of
a
the condition.
condition?
Yes, because I would not want future, if it's oversight and then new owners own it and that hasn't been rectified, then they can turn around and add another driveway. And that's what I want to make sure doesn't happen.
I agree with you on that.
So it's a simple one if it's approved, that can get rectified quickly. Okay, any questions? All right, go ahead.
No, I was just,
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and open this up to the public and ask if anybody from the public wishes to speak for or against this application, please come forward at this time and introduce yourself for the record. Let the record indicate no one from the public wishes to speak for or against this application. I'll bring it back to the board for further questions.
This is one of those places where the residences are changing from the smaller
It's old,
places
yes.
To the bigger homes. There are 2 new homes down there. They're beautiful, and this will fit right in with it.
So no further questions. Any closing comments?
No, from what again, I agree with Mr. Mayhew,
Sorry.
is that I know what the building beside it looks like, and I know what this building looks like, and this building would certainly match the neighbors' buildings. Make an improvement.
So that's your closing comment?
That's the only closing comment I can have right now.
Okay, you may have a seat. I'm going to close it to the public, bring it to board for discussion.
No,
Me?
I think it's a reasonable.
I mean, from looking at the lot itself, there's not much you can
Not much
do
else
to
you
make
can
it a
do.
conforming lot whatsoever. I'm not sure what the width of that lot is, but
It was, where was the tax map?
it doesn't leave a
It's
whole
like-
lot of building envelope in
It's like
there.
about 80 feet. It's a very, yeah, it's a narrow lot, 80 feet wide.
So,
With a seasonal stream through it.
Yeah, with a,
yeah. With the wetlands going through the center of it doesn't help matter, so then you lost more, so there's a whole bunch of hardships here trying to even make it into something other than what it is,
50
so.
feet on the shoreland, on the shorefront, so, yeah.
But the proposal does keep it out at 50 foot.
It does, it sets it back from the 50-foot.
So there,
but
you know, we
short.
gained some ground,
Yeah.
we gained some ground on the neighbors, so,
And removing that existing garage and making it part of the structure, we're taking, actually removing another
and
structure as well.
adding to the green space a
And
little
adding
bit.
to- Yep,
I don't know if it overall increases
May
it or
not, but
not,
it
but.
just brings it together instead of having
Yes.
it spread out across the lot.
It increases the green space.
So that's, you know, a lot of positives in the trying to do that, so. Any other discussion? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Give it a whirl. Make a motion to approve application 2017-0016 for a variance from the side setback, table 3 dimensional requirements, for 38 Eastman Shore Road. The applicant will be removing the existing house and existing garage and replacing it with a new structure that includes a proposed attached garage. The current structure on one setback is actually 3 feet from the side. The new structure will be 9 feet from the side setback, still 16 feet within the setback, but less non-conforming than the current structure is. Got this all put together, of course, now that I'm speaking. The variance will not be contrary to the public interest, as there is already a residential structure on the site, which the applicant is replacing with a still non-conforming, but less non-conforming structure. They will meet the 50-foot setback from the lake, and they will be releasing their current driveway easement over the abutters property and entering their own property off of Eastman Shore Road directly. The spirit of the ordinance is observed in that we are still while we're still non-conforming in the setback, we are actually making it less non-conforming by replacing the structure, the existing structure, with the new proposed structure, and keeping it back, keeps it well back from the 50-foot shoreline overlay. The applicant also has the necessary shoreland impact permit from the state of New Hampshire, which they included in the packet. Substantial justice is done in that the proposed redevelopment actually improves the quality of the lot and the neighborhood, and includes, I'd like to include number 4 with this as well, the value of surrounding properties are not diminished. 3 and 4 kind of meld together in that this improves the overall quality of this lot, the structure on this lot, and will therefore enhance the overall appearance of the neighborhood. Literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in a necessary hardship, and that this is a very narrow lot with wetlands existing within it, a seasonal 3-foot wide brook, and a setback from the lake, and attempting to place a building completely within setbacks and not impinging either on the side setbacks or the vernal, do you call them vernal streams?
Seasonal.
Seasonal streams, sorry, thank you. The seasonal stream would be difficult, if not impossible, to do. And the condition that we are setting is that the easement that was granted in the deed to cross the, to use the common driveway on the abutter's land be formally released by a release of easement deed to be recorded at the registry.
And this is all based off of the drawing.
Based on the drawings as submitted by the applicant, one for existing conditions, and then the second that shows the proposed location of the house with the attached garage and the landscape plan.
Dated
And-
6/14/17.
Dated 6/14/17, and any of the vegetation along the line, the boundary line that would be disturbed in the course of construction will be replanted.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Discussion?
I think I got it all.
I think so. The deed change. Wanted to get the drawings
The
in
deed
because
change
if there's
drawings, Question?
any questions to those, the side setbacks and stuff, then we have that in play. So,
Okay.
so I think that covers everything.
I think it does.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor of the motion? Okay. Thank you.
much.
Now, please be advised that there is a 30-day period that someone can contest.
Oh.
So just be aware that any things that go on is at your own.
One things I don't say very often when I'm testifying is, I sat on your side of the table for 30 years. So anyway, and we have a few more bumps to go through. It'll take us the 30 days to go through all those bumps.
Well, good. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Get some quick, not water and then we need on at the hyper-speed rate we're going.
Really?
Main Street.
All right, so where do I have a table 1?
All right, application number Z02017-0017, 55 Bay Street. Applicant is seeking a variance to change the use to indoor storage / self-storage, warehouse, vehicle storage, watercraft storage, long-term, and construction yard storage. Applicant, please come forward, introduce yourself for the record, and tell us how we might be of service.
Well, I think this would actually be a service. 55 Bay Street was used as a storage depot for fuel oil and kerosene for about 75 years. In the course of that, it was a victim of some cleanup that had to happen, and it's basically on a monitoring wells, and it's been remediated by the state of New Hampshire. Basically, the property is now, the bad soil has been removed, new sand, clean sand fill has been put in, and there's 4 to 5 monitoring wells on the property. The site is a flat area of sand. Basically, we are seeking indoor storage, self-service, a warehouse, inside and outside vehicle storage, inside and outside long-term watercraft storage, and an outside construction yard storage with equipment only, not piles of dirt and stuff like that.
Save me a question, thank you.
And, of course, the property's been there for a long time, and through the course of rezoning, it was rezoned in the downtown riverfront district. And the first thing I did was I looked at the table of uses for the downtown riverfront district, and I looked at this property, and I really couldn't find anything to use it for. So I enlisted help. I got the planning director to graciously go out there with me. We looked at the book together, and we both determined that there was nothing in the book that would be allowed to be done there. So basically, he said that due to the nature of this property, that he suggested I file a variance to be able to do something there, because the downtown riverfront district was really, well, even though it ends at the Fair Street Bridge as far as the main beautification part of the riverfront through the city, it was nevertheless part of the district and just really doesn't allow much of anything. So basically what you're going to be doing today is to give a little ugly duckling another shot at being something decent. And that's how you can help us tonight. Basically, I would just direct you to the assessment map and point out to you that all the tanks and the little office building has been removed. The only thing that's there is the old warehouse building, which most probably would have to be replaced because it's kind of falling in. And obviously, we need to go to the planning board with a site plan for this project, which we will do, but we didn't want to get into any of that without knowing what we could do there. So the variance will not be contrary to the public interest, because the property is basically ready to go. It's got frontage on 2 streets, about over 500 feet of frontage on Winnisquam Avenue and Bay Street. The site is flat. It's in very good shape for storage. It's very usable and provides a suitable location for residents' use for inside and outdoor storage purposes. The public interest in having a readily usable property upon which to store vehicles, equipment, watercraft, and warehouse store goods is a need, especially sometimes during Pumpkin Fest, and also that there is a demand to store boats in that area. It's next to a couple launch ramps, and it would be a very good place for that. The spirit of the ordinance is observed since the property is located between 2 semi-industrial commercial buildings and bounded by the business BCI and I zones and a commercial condominium. This variance does not unduly and in a marked degree conflict with the Laconia zoning ordinance and does not violate the ordinance's basic zoning objectives. Substantial justice is done as the owner and applicant can make some reasonable use of the property to obtain some financial return from the property to improve same and provided needed storage to the city. I would submit to you that substantial justice is that defined in the New Hampshire practice and in their zoning board of adjustment book is that any loss to the individual that is not outweighed by a gain to the general public is an injustice. And in this case, I submit to you that the injustice of the property as it is now, with all the restrictions on it, is more of an injustice on the owner, and we need to be able to provide some reasonable use of the property, and this variance will do that. The value of the properties won't be diminished because adequate fencing and landscaping and improvements to the property will make it more aesthetically pleasing. The nearest residential zone is over 60 feet away, and the houses are almost 100 feet away from the property. And upgrading the existing building will benefit the area, as will fencing and landscaping. Literal enforcement of the ordinance will result in unnecessary hardship due to the special conditions of the property being polluted and under state monitoring with test wells that distinguish it from other properties in the area, such that the property cannot really be excavated very deeply into the ground. And that's basically our proposal. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. But basically, we'd like you to help us make an ugly duckling nicer looking again.
In trying to transform this ugly duckling, you've made reference to fencing and you've made reference to landscaping and stuff like that. Is that part of the plan to put fencing in? And if so, what type of fencing would you be thinking? And landscaping, what would you be
To
thinking?
be honest with you, we need to meet with the planning department about what the requirements are when we do the site plan. I have not looked forward to the site plan yet because I'm not trying to avoid your question, but I just don't know, and I don't want to misspeak. But obviously, I'm going to be directed as to what the requirements are, and I intend to complete the requirements. And Mr. Fuller is here. He's the owner of the property, and he wanted to speak about some aspects of the property as well.
Please introduce yourself for the record, please.
Fred Fuller, trustee of the trust. I just want to interject that the state of New Hampshire has accepted responsibility for all the cleanup on that lot. It actually is gasoline. We never stored gasoline on that site, and from what they can figure, it came in under the railroad track on the southwest corner onto the plot. I don't think you got to look too far to figure out maybe where it came from. But anyway, and I've just got the update from them that they filed another plan to monitor for another 5 years. So they just keep updating it. And once we pay the $10,000 deductible, it just goes on. So they've accepted the ball of wax for it. So I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Unless there's some more questions, I'd be happy to answer any.
You mentioned that more than likely, more so than not, that the building would probably come down and you would rebuild in the same
Same footprint.
footprint. That
And
way
if we
you
need
would
to come
not
back,
have to-
and if we need to come back to you for that, we will, obviously. But we would be going in the exact footprint.
And when you mentioned construction yard storage, that would be like trucks or excavators or
Yeah,
stuff like that?
well,
not
there's...
building material?
There's all kinds of contractors that come into town on a short-term basis, or maybe not even, but there's the Busbys, there's the cable companies that come in, there's the electric utility companies that come in, and there's tree companies that come in, and they need a place to leave their things overnight and during the weekend, because they are working for the city. They're doing something in the city, and R.H. White, the gas people, there's any number of folks that might find it convenient to store their equipment in a secure area in town, but not piles of dirt.
The word "things" is what intrigues me.
Well, I meant
That's
why
I keep coming back to this.
No, the
If it's
planning,
vehicular storage is one thing.
it was
Building
equipment.
material.
It was equipment, and that's what we said. Equipment only. Trailers, trucks, excavators, backhoes, rubber-tired vehicles, just equipment that they use to go do their work. And
Okay. Any other questions at this time? With that, I'd like to open it up to the public and ask if anybody from the public wishes to speak for or against this application. Please come forward at this time and introduce yourself for the record.
His voice is much better than mine.
Let the record indicate no one from the public wishes to speak for or against this application. I bring it back to the board for any other questions.
I don't think I have any. Great deal of what would happen on this lot would be governed by the planning board anyway. Submitted as site plan for approval, so they would certainly monitor fencing, drainage,
So no questions?
instructions, no.
No questions.
I think that whatever they do down there is going to be an
Gotta
improvement.
help.
Okay, that'll be under discussion.
Yep, no further questions.
Closing statements.
No, thank you, and thank you very much for your time and attention this evening.
With that, I'm going to close it to the public, bring it to the board for the discussion.
Yes, as Roland said, anything they can do to
Within the
address that,
realm.
within the realm of reason, yes.
Right. And that's why I kept
Reasonable use.
wanting to know what things are.
Things, yes.
Things. Things can be anything,
Yes.
as the thing one and thing
Thing
two
yes,
said.
we-
More so, I would mind conditioning, if it's so approved, that some sort of fencing should be,
Something to screen, are you thinking? Something to
well, I'm
provide
trying to
some-
think screening, and
Sure.
if you're going to be putting things there, maybe of other people's values in the outdoors,
Something
maybe something
secure.
secured, so we don't have to unduly
Mm-hmm.
use our police department to be policing an unsecured place of valued properties. Because a lot of those trucks have a lot of tools that are very expensive, and
The trucks themselves are,
the trucks themselves are
people
very
make out with
expensive.
backhoes.
So I wouldn't mind some type of security, type of screening be added as a condition, so forth, at the planning board's discretion of what type of screening and stuff, but that would be fair to say, would it be?
Mhm.
Okay.
Security and
Any other discussion? I think it's of reasonable use that there is hardship being in the zone that it is in, and the conditions that are placed upon the property by both the state and stuff. I think it does lead to itself with the soft impact of using it as storage and stuff versus having to do a lot of other things for it, so, and myself, so. Anybody would like to do a motion, or you want me to do the motion?
I'll entertain the motion that we accept the plan, the variance as proposed, and I would accept Attorney Prudyard's summation of each of the areas of concern. And
Okay. So we can use as an insert the attorney's words, and also put as a condition about the fencing, screening
Screening,
/ security type at their, what they feel,
at the planning board level,
at the planning board level. But some form.
to ameliorate the
Absolutely.
impact that might be on
Yeah.
demand for police services.
I mean, if we get an opportunity to make it look a little better in the area, it doesn't hurt. We've got to start somewhere, so. All right, we have a motion.
And second?
We have a second. Discussion? There being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
It passes.
Beautify the ugly duckling.
It'll turn into a swan.
Yep. Big bike. All right.
All right.
Wow, that was expeditious.
Other business.
I got one quick thing, if you don't mind.
Don't mind at all.
Last Monday, the city launched their new website.
Yes.
I encourage everyone to take a quick look. It's very different, it's much more
Very.
user-friendly,
Very
and
different.
better to use, and with the new website comes a new agenda tool. It has the company that we're using for the website has an agenda tool, which, once we really learn how to use it, is going to make things easier, so they tell us.
They
But
keep telling us that.
yeah, in the meantime, I just want you to be aware that the agendas are going to look a little different, probably starting next month. I don't want you to get startled when they come in the mail or in your email inbox, but they will look a little bit different. The city is also trying, at the same time, with this new tool, to try to standardize the agendas of how they look across all the boards within the city. So between those two things, each board obviously has their own, unique things that go on, but there will be a little bit difference, and the look will be a little bit different, and just so you're aware of that.
Is that different than what was different when Brandy and them was introducing us to the new agenda? Because they had started introducing us to a new agenda, and then we had changes, and we had worked a lot with them on that agenda. Would that be the same tool?
No. What's the name of the tool we use now?
Novus.
Novus. Yeah, we use Novus now, which is a standalone tool. And now we're going to be using the tool that's within this website.
So we went to something new, and now we're going to newer.
Going to newer, yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean, it will look different. The basics will be there, but you're going to see, you just be a little bit different, that's all.
The reason why I ask is there's two things I keep, and I can go back for 14 years, believe it or not. I keep the agenda, and I keep the minutes in the agenda, and I marry them together.
Yep.
The new website will actually do that for you all in one. And there's links to all the applications and extensions. So when you click on the agenda, it'll actually pull those all up digitally for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing some exploring on the website today at work, trying to find different things. It's very different. Looks nice.
We still got some work to do, but it's an improvement already, and we'll make it even better.
I have a question. Has anybody been up on Parade Road lately to see what's going on up there?
With the, which property?
The one that was
Property,
with,
the
that she
campground.
withdrew her application?
No, I
Because-
don't think we have been.
The house is on blocks, prepared to be moved, and they've dug a trench down the length of the property. And I'm just wondering who's doing what up there, because nobody's come before us for anything.
No.
We'll take a look at it, thank you. Maybe they're just doing a new foundation, I don't know.
I don't know, I went up
assumed
by
there
there
was
on
a
Saturday night.
foundation, but I seen the house being lifted.
Yeah.
And I just assumed it was a
Yep.
foundation issue, but I didn't notice the trench before.
The trench is on the left, if you're looking at the
I'll have
house.
to go by
Yeah.
it again. I haven't been up there in a long time, not since she withdrew the applications. Yeah.
Because I thought the for sale sign was still up on that.
No, I didn't
It's
see the
down.
for sale sign.
No, as I say, I haven't been up there.
It might be there, but I don't remember seeing it.
I
She
think,
withdrew.
I'm not positive, but I think she has closed on it. I'm not positive, but I believe that's the case.
Okay. And as an update, I guess we still have one difference of opinion going on in Superior Court, or in?
We do.
below?
Yep. The deck on Paugus Bay Road.
The deck where the two neighbors have.
The neighbors were...
That's still an issue?
Yeah,
I
apparently the
guess it
neighbors
is.
are
I
still...
thought it was done,
I
but
did too.
yeah.
I guess we still have a difference of opinion, so it's in the Superior Court.
Is that right? Well, I'll tell you, they got a lot more problems down there than just a deck.
Well,
I
really,
went down
now
there
that,
the 4th
now
of
that the
July.
state doesn't want them in the
the
railroad
right-of-way, yeah,
right-of-way,
exactly,
yeah. That kind of puts a bind on people
I was down
parking.
there 4th of July, and you could not get a fire truck down there.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. It's tough anyway,
When it's busy, it's difficult down there, yep.
yeah.
Well, with that, is there anything else?
So,
We do have our two of us that need to be reappointed coming up, and
Yep, I'll follow up with, get you on the agenda of the city council.
we did have our last alternate decide, due to job requirements, I guess it was, or something, decided they
Right.
couldn't be here,
Yeah,
so.
yes, it would be nice to get
Just
some
the five of
alternates.
us.
It would be
So,
nice to get some alternates.
Anybody, are we live on TV?
Still
If
live.
anybody out there would like to be an alternate and, for the zoning board, please come forward and put an application in. We'd love to have you.
We're authorized, I think we're authorized 5 alternates, aren't we?
I'd be happy with one.
Really? So would I.
If there's nothing else, I will go ahead and,
Make a motion to adjourn?
sure. A
Second?
Yep, done.
Okay,
Good night, folks.
thank you. Dog will be happy and so soon.
So how much history y'all want to put on that website?
What kind of history?
Agendas and minutes and,
The previous